So today we will continue the discussion on the black body and the grey body radiation. We have already started discussion on the black body radiation in the previous class. This will be your 13th class. Okay, on heat transfer. So in the previous class we have discussed about what is a black body. Okay, what is a black body? What are the conditions for a body to be called a black body? Okay, why it is called a black body, and we have also seen some examples of black body. So we'll continue the discussion. Okay, we have also discussed about the Stefan Boltzmann law, which gives the maximum emissive power of a black body. Okay, so you have also seen the relation for the spectral black body emissive power, that is being given by E subscript B lambda. Okay, you see over here this relation E subscript B lambda, which is the function of lambda and T. It is given by C1 by, it is given by, you can see this expression E subscript B lambda. So what is this E subscript B lambda? It is the spectral black body radiation flask. This E B lambda, you have seen this, it is the spectral black body radiation flux. The radiant energy, or the radiant energy emitted by a black body, at a temperature, at T temperature per unit area per unit wavelength, per unit time. So this is E subscript B lambda. So this is C1 by lambda to the power 5 e to the power C2 by lambda t minus 1. Okay, and its unit is watt per meter square per wavelength. Okay, now so you have understood what is this E subscript B lambda. So this relation was given by Max Planck. Okay, on the basis of this his quantum theory which he developed. Now this value of this C1 and C2, you see over this value of this C1 is 2 pi h naught square, and its value is, it is experimentally found out, 3.742 into 10 to the power 8 watt per wavelength to the power 4 per meter square. And C2 is hc0 by k. Okay, and its value is also experimentally found out, 1.439 into 10 to the power 4 micrometer into Kelvin. Okay, so, and over here T is the absolute temperature of the surface. Okay, T is absolute temperature. Lambda is wavelength of radiation. And K is equal to Boltzmann constant. You also already know, 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. So basically we get this function from when we substitute. See, this comes from the other expression. Okay, that's the spectral emissive flux, radiation flux is equal to pi into I p lambda t. Okay, so this is the relation between spectral radiation flux and the intensity of radiation, okay, which is a function of temperature. You can see over here. Now when we substitute this intensity, okay, using the Planck's equation, using the Planck's function, so we substitute this I b lambda to t, okay, using the Planck's function. Okay, and this value is this C1 by lambda to the power 5, this one. C1 by lambda to the power e to the power this function. Okay, so when we substitute this in the place of I, we get that expression. And this expression we get when we integrate this intensity over the whole hemispherical space. When we integrate the intensity over the whole emissions hemispherical space, that is, and we integrate over a particular solid angle, so we get this expression. Okay, so you need not need to know this. Okay, you only remember this expression over here. Okay, you only remember this expression, that E b lambda is equal to C1 by this expression. Okay, this will do. So basically what we can do from this expression is that we can find the radiation flux for any particular temperature T and at any particular wavelength lambda. Okay, we can find the radiation flux. So you already know the value of these two constants, this C1 and C2. Okay, so as you know that E b lambda is a function of lambda and T. So for a particular temperature, if we keep the temperature constant, so for different wavelengths we will get different values of this E b lambda. Okay, radiation flux, emissive radiation flux. So now for a particular temperature you will see that E b lambda will vary with lambda. Now if we again change the temperature, then we will get another set of points in which E b lambda will vary with this lambda, this wavelength. Okay, so for different temperatures we will get different curves. Okay, different set of points. Okay, so from this expression we will get a series of curves where E b lambda will vary with lambda for a different set of temperatures. Okay, so now we will see these curves. So basically this family of curves will look like this. This family of curves will look like this, where this is the spectral emissive radiation flux E b lambda, and this will vary with wavelength lambda. Okay, so for a different set of temperatures we will get a different type of curves, different set of points that defines a curve. So suppose the temperature is T1, for this the temperature is T2, then for this T3 and T4 and likewise. Okay, so now over here you can see that T1 is greater than T2, is greater than T3, is greater than T4. Okay, so now for a particular curve you can see that there is a value of lambda for which for which the spectral emissive power is maximum. Okay, so for all the curves we have a particular value of lambda for which the EB lambda is maximum. Okay, so now suppose at this point of lambda, EB lambda is maximum. So similarly for this curve, suppose this is maximum, this point is maximum point. Similarly for this curve, okay, this point is maximum, and another for this point, this curve, this point is maximum. Okay, so now if we join these maximum points, okay, through a curve, so the locus of these maximum points of these curves, you can see we can get a very interesting derivation, interesting result is that lambda times of t maximum so this lambda into t corresponding to the maximum value of this emissive radiation, spectral emissive radiation. Okay, so lambda into t times corresponding to the maximum value is always comes to be a constant, that is 2897.6 microns into Kelvin, wavelength into temperature. So for here you will see that lambda 1 T1 corresponding to maximum MC power is equal to lambda 2 T2 is equal to lambda 3 T3, and likewise it will continue. Okay, so this expression is known as the Wien's displacement law. Okay, lambda times into t times corresponding to the maximum emissive power is a constant. Okay, so this is a very important law. Now this is the variation of the spectral emissive power with wavelength. Now we can get several observations from this figure. Okay, what are these observations? Is that the number one is that the emitted radiation is a continuous function of wavelength. Okay, so at any specified temperature it increases with wavelength. Okay, it increases with wavelength, as you can see. Then it reaches a peak over here, and then it again decreases with the increasing wavelength. Okay, so this is the first observation. At the second observation, number 2, is that at any wavelength the amount of emitted radiation increases with increasing temperature. So particular wavelength, see over here, this, if you go vertically upwards, you can see that the emissive power, okay, emitted emissive radiation, it increases with increasing temperature. So temperature is increasing, see here T3, T2, T1. Okay, so emissive power is also increasing for a particular wavelength with increasing temperature. Okay, so this is the second observation. The third observation is that as the temperature increases, the curves shift to the left. To the shorter wavelength region. See over here, as the temperature, so I have only drawn the rough diagram over here. Okay, so this is not the actual diagram, but you see over here, the third derivation is that as the temperature increases from T4 to T3 to T1, the curve shift to the left. You can see over here, this curve is actually shifting towards the left to the shorter wavelength region. So over there, see the peak is towards the left, then this curve, okay, towards the shorter wavelength region. So wavelength actually decreases. Value of lambda corresponding to the maximum emissive power decreases as the temperature increases. Okay, so a larger fraction of the radiation is emitted at shorter wavelength at higher temperatures. So for higher temperatures, the fraction most fraction of the radiation is emitted at shorter wavelength. Okay, at high temperatures, okay, larger radiation is emitted at shorter temperature. Okay. Another observation is that the radiation emitted by the sun, which is considered to be a black body, at about say 15800 Kelvin, at around 5800 Kelvin, reaches its peak in the visible region of the spectrum. Okay, so the maximum radiation energy of the sun reaches its peak in the visible region of the spectrum, so which we can see with our eyes. Okay, whereas for lower temperature surfaces, okay, less than suppose say 1000 degree Kelvin, the entire wavelength, it emits the maximum radiation at the infrared region, okay, which is not visible to our eye. Okay, so for sun you can see that the maximum corresponding to the maximum temperature, the wavelength is in the visible spectrum, but for lower temperatures it is not in the visible spectrum but in the infrared region of the spectrum. So this is what you all need to know. Okay, and this relation was developed by a scientist known as Willy Wien, okay, in the year 1894, okay, using classical thermodynamic theory. Okay, so this is not all about the black body, there are some other concepts. Okay, we'll discuss this later, but for now you know only these topics. Okay, but shortly we'll discuss about what is a grey body. Okay, that is in your syllabus. So we'll see what is the grey body. So see over here this grey body. So you have already heard this term of grey body in year 11 and 12th classes. Okay, now this grey body is defined as a body. The grey body is defined as a body where the absorptivity of the absorptive power does not vary with variation of temperature. So absorptivity or absorptive power does not vary with variation in temperature of the body and wavelength of the incident radiation. Okay, so absorptive power does not depend on the temperature and the wavelength of incident radiation. So this grey body, which may absorb some of the radiation, or that is, it may absorb some of the radiation incident on it, or it may also reflect, okay, or it may transmit, or it may not do any of these. Okay, suppose if a grey body does not transmit any radiation, then it can be said to be an opaque body. Okay, so basically there is no limitation on a grey body. Okay, it will absorb some of the radiation, okay, it will reflect some of the radiation, and it may also transmit some of the radiation incident on it. So what is this grey body is actually it is an imperfect black body. Okay, it is an imperfect black body. Okay, that what it does is that it partially absorbs some of the incident radiation, unlike a black body which totally absorbs all the radiation which is incident on it. Okay, so it partially absorbs incident radiation. So now the ratio of the grey body's thermal radiation to the black body's thermal radiation at a particular temperature is called the emissivity of the gray body. So it is always between 0 to 1. Okay, so emissivity of a black body is always unity, you know that. The emissivity of a black body is always 1. But for a gray body, okay, the value is from 0 to 1. The emissivity is more than 0 but less than 1. Okay, now this emissivity of this gray body, it depends upon certain factors. Suppose these are the geometry of the surface, geometry of radiative surface. Okay, then its physical properties, and also on its wavelength. Okay, so basically what we want to tell is that all real bodies that we see are actually gray bodies, because it is not possible to make an absolute black body. Okay, so all practical objects we see are gray bodies, and we will only consider gray bodies for doing all the problems. So I hope you have understood what is a gray body. You have got the basic understanding of what is a gray body, and will in the future lectures, all the objects which we will consider and all the problems which we will do will be actually on gray bodies. Okay, for all practical purposes. Okay, so this is for today's class. We will continue with the discussion on radiation in the next class. Okay, so thank you.